There's a lot going on in the news right now, both in the US and in the UK around Angela Rayner, Lisa Cook, and Letitia James, allegations of mortgage fraud. But what is mortgage fraud? Today, I'm going to just talk you through what mortgage fraud is, how it's used, and how to avoid it, especially if you're a first time buyer, because I do come across a lot of clients who I'm doing remortgages for who have maybe taken out products that weren't suitable for what they are actually using them for. So make sure you stay tuned into the end because I'll talk you through the full process and help you avoid common mistakes that people make. So, what is mortgage fraud? So, mortgage fraud is basically lying or deliberately leaving out information during the mortgage process in order to get approved to gain financially. It can be done by borrowers, brokers, valuers, lawyers, and even politicians. My name is Anthony Lindsay, and I make these videos not to provide legal advice, tax advice, or financial advice, but instead just to talk through different things that are going on in the economy and going on in the world of mortgages. If you need a reliable, fast, honest mortgage broker, make sure that you book an appointment with me. So let's just talk a little bit about mortgage fraud, specifically fraud for housing or personal gain. So this is when a borrower lies to get a house they otherwise couldn't afford or inflating their income. So fake pay slips, fake jobs, manipulating data from an accountant, things like that. Hiding debts. So you have debts that you've hidden, not disclosing other mortgages or pretending a property is going to be your main residence when it's actually going to be a buy to let property. These are things that people sometimes willingly do, and other times, because they're getting bad advice from mortgage brokers, solicitors, friends, or family, they're getting bad advice from them on how to get on the property ladder. The best thing is, as always, to be open and honest. If your income is not sustainable or cannot support a mortgage, then you shouldn't take out that mortgage. Keep in mind there are specialist lenders who are there to help you if your income is a little bit low. Some lenders will do a higher income multiplier, but you should never, ever, ever do any of the things on here. And 9 times out of 10, it won't work, especially now with AI and open banking. So, fraud for housing is usually for personal gain. This is what individuals do, and it could be considered mortgage fraud. Fraud for profit. So this is systematic abuse. This is usually not an individual, but a set or group of people doing things that are illegal in order to get property. So it could be property flipping. So colluding with a valuer to artificially inflate a property's value, then selling or remortgaging it for a quick profit. So I'll say that again. Property flipping. So it's concluding or colluding with a valuer to artificially inflate a property's value, then selling it or remortgaging it quickly for a profit. That could be considered mortgage fraud because you're getting the valuer to lie about a value of a property and then you are remortgaging it, and it's just not something that you should be doing. Equity skimming. So taking out mortgages in someone else's name, often it's identity theft or identity fraud, collecting rent and never paying the lender. This happens a lot. And this is why you have to be very careful about who you work with, what professionals you work with, and understanding every detail of the product that you're getting. Because if you don't understand it, or if you sign things that you don't understand, you can be putting yourself in a bad position. Straw buyers. So using someone else's identity or credit history to get a mortgage. This could be mortgage fraud. And in most cases, it will be because you're using someone else's identity or someone else's credit history to fraudulently get a home that you would not otherwise qualify for. Solicitor or broker fraud. So professionals misleading lenders or diverting funds. You must work with a broker who is licensed, someone that hopefully has been recommended by a friend or family, not someone that you've just found online, not someone that has contacted you, but someone who is honest, someone that you can check their references. They work for a reputable firm and they are actually licensed. In some cases, you will find that you have solicitors, accountants, and brokers who may be doing things that they feel is to help you as an individual. It is not. If they're not doing it completely within the law and they're not following banking procedures, then it may get you into that home, but you could be committing mortgage fraud. So always work with a broker, a solicitor, work with professionals who are licensed, who are honest. And this may mean sometimes, and it happens with me quite frequently, where you have to protect the client from themselves. You have to tell the client, no, we cannot proceed with this mortgage because your income is not high enough, or because based on what you've told me, it may potentially make you a mortgage prisoner in the future. And I'm going to talk about mortgage prisoners because it's a concept that many people don't understand. And quite often, when you try to explain it to a client why you're unable to proceed with a mortgage for them, they just don't want to hear it. And this is when they end up going to someone else who will give them the answer that they want. So, systematic mortgage fraud or abuse is something that should be avoided at all costs. It's quite often a group of people who are intentionally doing it, but sometimes an innocent buyer can be caught up in this whole trap and this deception and this illegal activity. So avoid it at all costs. Red flags. So things to avoid, people to avoid, situations to avoid. So someone tells you a lie, tells you to lie about your income. So just say you earn more. So let's just say in order to qualify for a £400,000 mortgage, you're a little bit short. And a broker or a solicitor or an accountant is telling you just lie and say you make more. Don't do it. Anytime someone is telling you to lie about something, you should know, and there should be some red flags that come up. So, your income is your income. What the lender is going to want to see is P60s. They're going to want to see pay slips. They're going to want to see things that verify your income. That's for your protection. So, don't feel that lenders don't want to lend. They make a ton of money by doing mortgages. So it's in their best interest to do the mortgage and to move forward. But they don't want to put you in a situation where you won't be able to maintain your payments. Because as they always say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up the repayments on your mortgage. Another thing to avoid at all costs, a friend or unregulated advisor offers to get you a deal for cash. Anything that looks and sounds too good to be true, especially with property, probably is. So make sure that you're checking paperwork, make sure that the person is truly regulated, make sure that you're engaged with the seller, because it could be a situation where this person is trying to get you to purchase a property that they have no right to be selling. So avoid that. That should be a red flag. They ask you to sign blank forms or don't explain the documents. This is a clear violation of FCA guidelines. Every broker will make sure that you understand the document. One of the criticisms that some clients have about me is that I over explain things. And throughout the process, I'll repeatedly say, do you understand? Do you want me to explain that again? So you should always understand the documents that you're signing. They should always be explained to you clearly, and you should never, ever, ever be embarrassed to ask them to explain the thing again. They should also give you the opportunity, if you want to have someone else in the meeting, to have someone else there, or to take the documents away, that you can speak to another professional who is licensed, and that person can maybe explain it in a different way or just confirm your understanding of the document. The worst thing you can do is go to cousin Bob or a friend or family member that may have purchased houses in the past and ask them to verify documents. If they're not licensed professionals, they may have the best intentions in mind. However, they may be misleading you. So make sure you don't sign any blank documents ever, and make sure that the documents that you do sign, you clearly understand. Another red flag is they encourage you to pretend you live in a property when you plan to rent it. That's mortgage fraud. So this is what's in the news with Letitia James in the US and Lisa Cook in the US. So they allegedly took out mortgages on properties that they said were going to be their prime resident when in fact they were renting them out. The reason why someone would do that is because there's different products available for your prime residence as opposed to buy to let. The criteria is different. The interest rates are different. The repayment structures are different. So they are saying, or allegedly have said, that a property that is actually rented out is their main residence. So this is what's been in the news recently in the US with Lisa Cook and with Letitia James. Now, let's just suspend the whole political thing and the why they're being accused of these things. If it is true, it is mortgage fraud. So, if you are trying to purchase a property and it's going to be your residential property, and for whatever reason, a mortgage broker, solicitor, friend, or family member is saying, just get a buy to let and then live in it. Avoid it. Do not do it. It is mortgage fraud. You are misusing the product that you're getting. And 9 times out of 10, you'll get found out. So avoid it. Don't do it. Don't let anybody talk you into it. Another red flag thing to avoid, they push you into a property scheme that sounds too good to be true. I think all of us from a very young age are told if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And when it comes to property and when it comes to these legal matters, you absolutely want to make sure that everything you're doing is above board, is legal. And sometimes it's just beyond it being above board and being legal. You're working with reputable people because it might be above board and might be legal, but might not be the best thing for you because of the people that you're entering into this arrangement with. So I've just covered off a few red flags on things to avoid, people to avoid, and situations to avoid to ensure that you don't get caught inadvertently in the trap of committing mortgage fraud.